Dragon Ball is important to me. Some of my most vivid memories growing up are of watching it for the first, second, third, however many times, running over to my grandma's house every day after school because she had Cartoon Network and we didn't, just so I could sit glued to the TV and watch the adventures of Son Goku and his friends. Suffice to say, little me loved Dragon Ball Z, but I lost touch with it as I got older. Cartoons were lame or some such nonsense from a dumb teenager. But with the release of new movies and discovering Team 4 Star's Abridged series only a few years ago, I let Dragon Ball back into my heart and rediscovered my love for the series. And then Dragon Ball Super happened too, and for the first time since my childhood we had a brand new Dragon Ball series releasing every week, rather than just another redub or re-edit. Being too impatient to wait for the English dub to come around, I started to watch the series in its original Japanese, and it was not what I expected. Some context. Obviously I grew up on the English dub of Dragon Ball Z, of which there are quite a few versions. The three most well-known ones seem to be the original Ocean dub.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000!
Then the Funimation in-house.
Vegeta, what did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000!
And more recently, Funimation's Kai dub.
Vegeta, what's wrong with you? Tell me what his power level is! It's over 9,000! What? 9,000? You've got to be kidding me! That thing's a piece of junk!
So I'd basically never watched any Dragon Ball in Japanese up until Super started. I'd seen 2 different English dubs, and some bits of Kai, but never the original as it was intended to be viewed. And so watching Super, it took time to get used to the new, or rather old, voices and musical style, but mainly the change was jarring because of one character, and the most important one at that. Goku. I'd known before Super started airing that the original English dubs had changed aspects of the series to make it more appealing to a Western audience, such as Bruce Faulconer's score being used by Funimation instead of Shunsuke Kikuchi's original. Anime wasn't considered a sure thing in the West, lacking the mainstream popularity it has now, but I'd never truly realised just how much Goku's character had been changed as part of this too. In fairness, since the Kai dub and through to Super, the English Goku has been much closer to his original portrayal.
I forgot my tracking.
But the Goku in the older dubs is much closer to, say, Superman, filling the role of superhero who protects the innocent, and those are the versions I remember the most. But Japanese Goku is a much simpler man. He's innocent, naive, his only real goal in life is to fight strong opponents and improve himself through them. Being a hero isn't what he sets out to do, but he does have a respect for life and can't stand by to watch innocent people suffer if he can do something about it.
強いやつと戦ってみてって思いで今まで来ただけで今回も一緒さ。けんどよ、何も関係ねえ人や生き物たちが消えちまうことは我慢できねえ。
孫悟空、お前は面白いやつだ。
そっか？ま、じっちゃんの教えのおかげだけんどな。
Two good examples of this change to his character are during the battles against Vegeta and Freezer. In the original language, Goku lets Vegeta go after their intense battle because he wants to fight him again.
すまねえがそいつを行かせてやってくれ。ほらのわがままを聞いてくれ。もう一度やつと。
He admits it's a selfish request considering how dangerous Vegeta is. But his superior strength proves that Goku still has room to improve, and he wants to train enough to defeat Vegeta on his own one day. In the English dub, Goku allows Vegeta to escape because he believes he has the potential to be good.
Just let him go, Krillin. Show him what it means to be merciful.
We know now that Vegeta eventually does become a hero, and basically the series' second lead at this point. But that wasn't the intention at the time. The action is the same, but fundamentally changed. Then there's the battle against Freezer, where Goku becomes the legendary Super Saiyan for the first time. Dub Goku wants to defeat Freezer because of how evil the villain is, and acts as a savior for the universe with his big I am speech.
I am the hope of the universe! I am the answer to all living things that cry out for peace!
Sub Goku is just pissed because Freezer killed his best friend. He's not out for justice, he's out for revenge, even though his more peaceful nature does win out in the end. Discovering this different side to Goku while watching Super was weird and off-putting at first. Super has a lighter tone overall than Z did anyway, so Goku has more opportunities to just be goofy and a more comedic character, when I remember him being quite serious. This change in tone shouldn't even matter, since Goku wasn't even one of my favourites growing up. In fact, he was one of the ones I found the least compelling, especially since Z doesn't really feel like Goku's story anyway. He's often more of a plot force than a character, spending huge stretches of the story either dead, injured, training, fighting heart disease, or dying again. The action almost always revolves around Goku in some way, but he doesn't always feel like the protagonist.
Can we stop talking about Kakarot for just a minute? I mean, for God's sakes, he's never even around!
Sad thing is, he's not exactly wrong.
This feeling probably stems, at least in part, from UK viewers not getting the original Dragon Ball dub first, which featured young Goku growing up. By starting with Z, when Goku was already an adult and with a son of his own, Gohan, we missed out on a lot of Goku's development, and it's why I always connected with Gohan more. If Dragon Ball had been dubbed first, I probably would have latched onto Goku. Z feels much more like Gohan and Vegeta's stories. It features Gohan growing up, fulfilling his massive potential and becoming a warrior like his father. At least up until the last minute switcheroo where Goku becomes the main character again. And Vegeta gets not just the most, but the best character development in the whole show. And yet, weirdly enough, Vegeta's development loses something without Goku's original personality, even though I never realised it until recently. Vegeta's story has always been intimately tied to Goku's. His drive is based purely on the fact that Goku surpassed him, and how his pride cannot allow that. He has to beat Goku, be stronger than him. But this is much more interesting when you realise that Goku's motivation is remarkably similar, but different in a vital, specific way. Vegeta always wants to be better than someone else, specifically Goku. But Goku just wants to be better. When Vegeta meets someone stronger, his first instinct is to try and surpass them. But Goku wants to learn from them and improve himself through them.
I will prove once and for all that I'm the strongest warrior in the universe! It is my destiny! Son Goku, 己の強さを追い求めるのはなぜだ?
わかんねえな。強くなりてんだ。とにかくよ。
A big example of their differing approaches is when Vegeta allows Cell to absorb Android 18 in order to become perfect, so that Vegeta can have a better fight to prove himself in. Goku would obviously love to challenge himself against Perfect Cell, even when he fully admits he wouldn't be able to win, but he absolutely would never sacrifice someone else for the opportunity. Both Saiyans want to get stronger and to challenge themselves, but the how and the why is what separates them, and really is the heart of their rivalry. When Goku is portrayed as more of a Superman figure, Vegeta's arc overall still works well, but it lacks that reflective nature of their relationship that makes it even more compelling. Also, weirdly enough, Goku has never actually beaten Vegeta in a fight. Something to think about. As much as Gohan has always been my favourite, I can understand now why he never became the main character that he was seemingly destined to be. Where Goku doesn't really set out to do the right thing, Gohan's motivation has always been much more heroic and less straightforward. He literally becomes a superhero as a teenager, the Great Saiyaman. Gohan's battles are always to protect his friends and his family, not from the desire to improve and challenge or even just the thrill of the fight. Gohan is a much more traditional lead character compared to Goku, and the series would look very different through him. If we look at Dragon Ball Super, for example, much of the story has been a result of Goku's search for improvement through battle. Zamasu and Goku Black only existed because Goku sought and achieved power that rivals the gods, and the Tournament of Power only happens because Goku basically begs for it.
あのさ、どっちの善ちゃんかわかんねえけど、メイに全宇宙で武道大会やろうかなって言ってただろ？あれどうなったんだ？もう待ちくたびれたぞ。
Gohan wouldn't drive the story in the same way Goku does, because he doesn't seek out these challenges in the same way. The latter half of Super's run, specifically Goku Black in the tournament, actually go to great lengths to deconstruct the idea of Goku as a hero of justice. The Zamasu arc saw the radical Supreme Kai steal the future version of Goku's body in order to enforce his own crusade of justice, truly believing that he was a force of good in an unjust and corrupted universe. Zamasu, or Goku Black, is the idea of Goku as a superhero personified, and taken to a villainous extreme. And then the Z Fighters' main opponents during the Tournament of Power are the Pride Troopers, who are basically the superheroes of their own universe. Their leader Toppo is so obsessed with justice that his attack names are literally named things like Justice
Justice Tornado! Justice Crusher! Justice Crusher!
Goku's primary rival Jiren equates strength with justice in a way that Goku never would, to the extent that he is unable to trust anyone but himself. In contrast, Goku's path to power has been possible solely by his relationship to his friends and allies, as pointed out by Master Roshi during their battle.
悟空には互いを高め合える者たちがおる。それはお互いにとってかけがえのない大切なものと同時に悟空を奮い立たせる存在なのじゃ。ここまで来たのは自分一人の力だとあやつはこれっぽっちも思ってないじゃろうな。
Jiren is a mirror as to what Goku would look like if he only cared about strength without trust and justice through strength.
ほら別に正義のヒーローでもなんでもねえけどな仲間を傷つけるやつは許さねえぞ
All this comes down to a simple question. Is Goku a character I like? In the old days, I wasn't so sure. He was cool enough, especially with his iconic Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3 transformations. But English Goku didn't have the same draw to me as Gohan or Vegeta, who had more obvious development and appeals. But the more I've been exposed to Goku while watching Super, the more I've come to see and appreciate how he became one of the most beloved anime characters in the world. He's a simple man, a kid in an adult's body, but there's something refreshing and inspirational in that near-naive simplicity. His innocent nature lets him see the best in people, and it's no accident that most of the main cast is made up of Goku's previous rivals and enemies. There's no malice in his heart when he fights, and there's a great lesson to be found there in how to treat your opponents and your own challenges. Goku shows that no obstacle is impossible, and there's a reason a generation of viewers spent their childhoods trying to become a Super Saiyan. Dragon Ball and Goku glamorize perseverance and self-betterment, and that's not a bad message to send to kids. Train hard, push yourself and break through your limits, but also make sure to enjoy the simple things, and not to stand by when people need help. Fine, Goku's pretty cool,